Please stand for our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You can now be seated. At this time, Isaiah Dunlap will bring the invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this. Thank you for this court of honor, and let us honor our Boy Scouts for this, as they wake up to Eagle. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Lee Dixon, who is our chairman of this court of honor. Mr. Dixon.
Well, thank you all for being here today. Obviously, this is a big day for our 5 Eagle Scout candidates. A little bit delayed, but we're glad to at least be here at this point. So it's my privilege to call this Eagle Scout Court of Honor to order, and I would like to welcome all of you here. It's a privilege to be here, to be spending time with you, and to recognize the achievement and the accomplishment of these boys as they become young men and become leaders in our community. So I would like to ask our Eagle Scout candidates to stand. So Joshua Masters, please stand, along with your family. Thank you. Have a seat. Appreciate that. Eagle candidate Cooper Renn, please stand. Cooper, your family, if they're here with you. Yep. Fantastic. Thank you. You may be seated. Eagle candidate Will Schaible, please stand with your family. Thank you all. Please be seated. Eagle candidate Ben Sheorn, please stand with your family. All right, thank you all. Appreciate it. You may be seated. And Eagle candidate Aiden Spinks, please stand with your family. Great. Thank you all. You may be seated. So a few other distinguished guests we have. Obviously, a few of these folks have really invested heavily in the lives of these boys over the years. So Scott Kilgore, where'd Scott go? Oh, there, you're right in front, of course. There's Scott. Thank you, Scott, for being here. Troop 19 Scout Master. And all of the Assistant Scout Masters, if any Assistant Scout Masters are here, if you'd stand. Okay. It's all you, Scott. Good job. Now, all members of Troop 19, please stand. So hopefully for the rest of you all, you'll see what these guys have accomplished, and I continue to work hard on the Eagle Path. Thank you. So now all parents and family members of Scouts, please stand, which is probably everybody else. So all parents, family members, fantastic. You get to go up and down. All right, thank you all very much. So any Eagle Scouts in the audience, would ask our Eagle Scouts, whether you're adults or a youth, if you'd stand, all Eagle Scouts. Okay, good to see some Eagle Scouts. So thank you all very much. Please be seated. So a few thoughts as I reflect on today, and I think about these Eagle candidates who, with the help of their parents, their scout leaders, others, who have gotten to this point in their life, and it made me reflect kind of on my journey. So I'm the youngest of 3 boys. I have 2 older brothers. All 3 of us are Eagle Scouts. And my dad was a career Marine, so we moved around a good bit as a kid. And so I moved 7 times before I earned my Eagle Scout. And moving around to 7 times, 7 different states, acclimating into new schools, new communities, new sports teams, all of that kind of stuff. Scouting was always a foundational, fundamental thing that we did whenever we landed in a new community. My mom was a den leader, Augusta Dixon. My dad, King Dixon, was a scoutmaster. And so over the years, my parents were both heavily invested in Scouts and helped me along the journey and helped me kind of grow into be the man that I am today, really focused on leadership and service to others. And so as I think about that, Scouting was so important to my parents that both who passed away last year were buried in their Eagle Scout parent pins. You're going to be seeing those pins presented today to the parents of our Eagle candidates. And that's how important Scouting was to my family and to my parents, that they wanted to be remembered in that way. And so I earned my Eagle Scout when I was 14 years old. I know some of y'all might have been 14 at the time, but it's been a couple of years, so time goes on fast. And And I developed my leadership skills in scouting, and so I was a senior patrol leader, was Order of the Arrow, went to Philmont Scout Ranch out in New Mexico, and went to the High Adventure Camp. It was Maine at the time, where we canoed around for a week and all that kind of stuff. So it was a privilege to be able to go to both of those High Adventure Camps as a kid. And I really learned kind of the fundamentals of leadership and how to serve other people and lead other people. And so as I think about that, I wanted to share 5 thoughts with you all today, short thoughts. And the first one is, especially for our Eagle candidates today, that the first thing is you are who you are. And so that may sound obvious, but sometimes we compartmentalize our lives. And so I want to remind you that whether you're still in high school, whether you're in college, go Gamecocks. We've got at least one Gamecock, I think. Footnote, Carolina and Clemson have the same record in football at the moment. So may not be that way at the end of the year, but at least for the moment. So whether you're in high school and college, or you're getting ready to go into the Air Force, you can't compartmentalize your lives. I've learned that over my life, that I'm the same person wherever I am. And so we need to be true to ourselves. So whether in high school, in college, on the ball field, in a job somewhere, on the soccer field, the sports field, whatever it is, we need to live out the Scout Oath and the Scout Law in all areas of our life, no matter where we are and what we're doing. Second thing is you will be shaken in this world. We all lived through a pandemic, and it's been tough. And so you may have seen this before, but if I shake this bottle, why does water come out? Well, water comes out because I'm shaking the bottle. But if we change the question and say, why does water come out? Well, water comes out because water is in the bottle. And so think about the Scout Oath and the Scout Law when you get shaken in life. You need to still represent those attributes no matter what is going on in your life around you, because the world's a pretty crazy world right now, and we need leaders who can lean forward and lean into the chaos that we're living in and continue to serve our communities and our country and each other. Third thing is live life, don't just survive life. My wife and I talk about that a lot, that don't let the inertia of time, when the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months and the months into years. Think about what we've lived through the last 2 years. You can almost kind of give up and just say, there's nothing I can do about this. And we challenge all of us to really live life, enjoy the journey, and lean into life, and don't just survive life. So at work sometimes on a Friday afternoon, we'll gather together and we'll look back on the week and say, did I make a difference this week? Is the company I work for a better place now than it was this time last week? If so, that was a pretty good week. If not, maybe I got some work to do and I got to go home for the weekend and kind of reorient and refresh myself to come back in on Monday morning. Fourth thing is be a thermostat, not a thermometer. And so if you think about the difference between those two things, a thermometer will just tell you what the temperature is in the room, whereas a thermostat will change the temperature in the room. And so we challenge all of us to be a thermostat in the world that's crazy that we live in right now. Seek to live a life of the Scout Oath and the Scout Law that impacts the world around us, that changes the temperature and doesn't just tell people what the temperature is. Lastly, I would say, live in faith and not fear. If you think about faith and fear, both are focused on an unknown future, but one, fear, will kind of scare you and might drive you into just sitting still and not doing anything. Whereas faith, you have hope in a positive future. You're looking forward to the next day, even though it's unknown and uncertain. So I would encourage all of you all, particularly our Eagle candidates, to lean forward in faith and not fear, particularly in the craziness that we're living in the world today. So just some thoughts, just to kind of frame what we're trying to do today, and at least some lessons that I've learned over the course of my life at this point. So with that, it's now time to introduce Scott, our Troop 19 Scoutmaster for the last 21 years. Unbelievable, and thank you, Scott, for your service to scouting. Scott's an Eagle Scout, proud parent of an Eagle Scout, Vigil Honor Member of the Order of Arrow, a Silver Beaver Award recipient, and under his leadership, I don't know if it's today or today plus, but 92 Eagle Scouts at this point, so fantastic job.
Thank you, Lee. Those are some great thoughts for us to consider. When I worked with council, at the council level, your dad was always a very prominent fixture in the leadership. And so inspiring, and so such a great man. So Before you stands a single lighted candle. It represents the spirit of scouting. Scouts also live by another code, which is the scout oath or promise. Scout oath describes 3 duties that every scout must accept: duty to God and country, duty to others, and duty to self. Nick and Sawyer, can you lead us, please?
I would like to ask all current and former scouts to please stand and repeat with me the Boy Scout oath and law. Repeat with, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the scout law, help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Could I ask all scouts to stand once more? Please repeat after me. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Okay, so at this time, we would like to ask our Eagle candidates to come forward as I call your names. Josh Masters. And sit down here in front, please. Cooper Wren. Will Schaible. Ben Sheorn. And Aiden Spinks. And as we prepare, we will now listen to the voice of the eagle.
This is the voice of the eagles whose heights you struggled hard to reach. We remember well when you first came to the base of the cliff and how you looked up with ambition and determination. Look back for a moment, look down the cliff you have climbed. Look at the experiences you have encountered in your ascent. These experiences should not be forgotten. We remember when you took your first step upon the trail that leads upward. With that first step, you began to build yourself physically, mentally, and morally. You started living the scout oath and law. All the while you were on the trail, we watched you study and we saw that you learned by doing. First, you were only a scout. Then your scout brothers called you a tenderfoot scout. Soon, you reached the first ledge, and there you were greeted by a large group of second-class scouts. Some, like you, were stopping to catch their breath before continuing along the trail. You worked harder, and before you knew it, you came to another ledge, the ledge where the first-class scouts dwell. There, you found a place of rest. Here, you were tempted to remain. Yes, you could have remained there, but your ambition stirred you on. We remember your advancement to Star Scout. The trail from the first class to Star spurred you on, and again you climbed further. The trail was steeper and less worn. Fewer scouts were headed in your direction. You looked down and saw the crowd below you. You looked up and saw a few scouts above you. With the same determination that started you on your climb, you continued up the trail. Soon you earned the rank of Life Scout. The heart badge was then placed on your uniform. You will never forget how you felt. All scouts reaching the ledge of Life Scout have experienced this feeling. You thought to yourself, now I am close to the eagle. I will carry on. Your trail became tougher but more interesting. The original principles, the Scout Oath and Law, now had a fuller meaning. Yes, we have watched your character unfold. We have watched your leadership grow, and we have watched your mind develop and your wisdom increase. Now that you are on the threshold of your goal, we welcome you. You are now an Eagle Scout. This is the voice of the Eagle.
So, Eagle candidates, if you'd please stand. And so, a little bit background on this. The awarding of the Eagle rank obviously is an important occasion, and it's the climax of your scouting career, at least in terms of the highest honor that you can earn. Obviously, an occasion for pride and joy, and a time for serious contemplation, candidates, as you think about the path forward from here and how you'll lead in your communities and country. And so, as all of you heard earlier, this ceremony is the culmination of years of investment of time and energy and effort. Might have even had a few broken bones or scars or things along the way, depending. So thank you to the parents and the scout leaders who all contributed to that and assisted them along the way. So the Eagle Award is the highest and most coveted honor that can be earned in scouting, and very few scouts actually get there. Only 3% of scouts in the United States actually make it to the rank of Eagle Scout. So well done, gentlemen. And so to you Eagle candidates, at this point we recognize that you have achieved the purpose of scouting in building character, training for leadership, and the practice of service. Those are the three kind of critical attributes of making it to Eagle Scout. So to earn the Eagle Scout, each of you have met the requirements of being an Eagle Scout. You've advanced through the ranks, as we just described: tenderfoot, second class, first class, star, and life. You earned at least 21 merit badges, 13 of which are the same ones are required to be an Eagle Scout. I was impressed by Aiden's design on his sash there. You'll notice that there are the 13 required are in kind of one row, and maybe subliminally, whoever did the sewing, it looks like a tomahawk or a hatchet as you kind of work your way up. You served actively in troop leadership for a defined period of at least 6 months after becoming a Life Scout. You planned, developed, and carried out a service project, an Eagle Scout project, worthy of being an Eagle Scout. And you appeared before a board of review of prominent people in the troop and had to explain and defend and answer questions about your project. And you also had to demonstrate that you lived up to the Scout Oath and Scout Law in all ways of your life. So to the audience, I would say after careful examination by local and national boards of review as to the qualifications of these candidates, we say they are so qualified. These Eagle Scout candidates have met all of the qualifications and have demonstrated loyalty and duty to God and country, and we believe that they are qualified to receive the rank of Eagle Scout. You all may be seated, candidates.
Josh, can you stand with? Who is going to present Josh?
Josh Masters, mother and father are Kimberly and Tripp. He's currently a sophomore at, unfortunately, University of South Carolina. I did everything I could. Let's see here. He started in scouting in September of 2014. Total of 25 merit badges. Offices that he held were patrol leader, quartermaster, chaplain, and troop guide. During this time for his project, what he did was he worked for with the dog park in Cleveland Park to renovate it, did 2 new dog obstacles as well as fixing the current obstacles that were there. Spent roughly 127 hours on that project to get it done. One of his major accomplishments while he was in scouting was both Order of the Arrow and his trip to Philmont in 2016. My nephew was on that one. I heard it was pretty intense. Your most memorable point was for Josh was trying to cook meals with his patrol as a group and actually having to eat what they cooked. There are moments when I think he had things that they didn't want to eat, but they realized that was all they had and they ate them. Your plans give back to scouting. He plans on having, with future children, having them involved in scouting and join the troop. Plans after high school, he's currently attending the University of South Carolina. Whatever. He is a biochemistry major and looking forward to graduating here. He's, as a sophomore, he'll graduate here in a few years. Some of the people he wanted to thank, though, were his mother for always keeping me motivated and stay strong on my way to getting his Eagle. To Mr. Bueller and Mr. Brock for helping him, assisting him in getting his project done. Without these two, he would have not been able to finish, from what I can tell. For Scott, for always making scouting a great experience and for keeping him involved and always keeping him motivated to grow in new ways. And also to the Greenville County Rec for allowing him to work with the project in Proposing Park. One of his major statements was the road to Eagle was not easy, but looking back, it was one of those things he was happy he stuck with. There you go.
Sorry we couldn't do your Eagle Court of Honor sooner. Cooper, can you stand up? And who's reading Cooper's qualifications?
So it's my pleasure to introduce Cooper Renn for the candidate of Eagle Scout. His father is Timothy Renn and his mother is Sarah Lyles. Cooper is a junior at Wade Hampton High School. He joined the Scouts in May of 2016 and has earned the 21 merit badges. Leadership positions, he's been a patrol leader, assistant senior patrol leader, and troop guide. For his Eagle project, he constructed a large enclosure to help rehabilitate injured raptors that benefited wildlife rehab of Greenville. So that was a whopping 393 hours, a massive Eagle project. Special awards, Order of the Arrow. He went to Northern Tier, High Adventure, and did the 50-mile paddle club there. In school, he does varsity cross country, track, and field. One of the most memorable trips I had in scouting was a trip in 2018 to the Barrier Island near Charleston, South Carolina. The trip was the worst trip I ever went on. The mosquitoes were blood-sucking vampires, and the sun was a blazing inferno. By the end of the trip, all of the participants had the worst sunburns of their life or had sun poisoning, except for my dad, who had a great time. But that's what scouting is about, and he didn't quit, and he stuck it out, and here he is today. So, plans to give back to scouting. I hope to have my kids join the Scouts. After high school, he wants to go to college and pursue a degree in landscape architecture. Cooper wants to thank his dad for encouraging him to join the Scouts when he turned 11 and for pushing him to finish by obtaining the Eagle Scout rank. He would also like to thank his grandmother for all the behind-the-scenes work she did, for sewing on patches on the uniform and merit badges, as well as constantly encouraging him along the way. And gives a shout out, of course, to his Scoutmaster, Scott Kilgore. All right.
Thank you, Cooper. Chip, appreciate your taking care of that for Cooper. So, Cooper, your most memorable was a miserable trip. Okay. Did you get the memo about the sunscreen in the mosquito repellent? Okay. Just checking. Okay. Will, can you stand up, please? And who's going to present Will's qualifications?
I'm Dean Sheorn, and I'd like to present Will Schaible. I'm really privileged to be able to do this for Will. He mentions his first meeting with the Troop 19 here, and I was there when I met Will and his dad, Chip, and so we've shared many years together. Will's parents are Chip and Amy Schaible. He's currently a freshman at Clemson University. He joined scouting in August of 2013, and he's earned 28 merit badges. He's been the founder and the bearer of the Spartan Patrol within the troop, that patrol leader, an assistant senior patrol leader, senior patrol leader, and troop chaplain. His Eagle Scout project, he handled the construction, installation, and beautification of picnic tables for the Poe Mill Achievement Center on Buncombe Road. And he worked a total of 156 hours on that project with other boys' help. Some of his special awards, he earned God in Church. He's a member of OA, and he was on the Appalachian Trail trip of 2018. And that was kind of a plan B because they couldn't go to Philmont because Philmont was burning at the time. It turns out they burned on the Appalachian Trail about 50 miles over that week, and it was an amazing trip for most people. I broke my leg on that trip. That's why I say that. His school and community awards, he's was on the honor roll as well as the AP honor roll. Youth and government delegate for 5 years, and in the National Honor Society. And then I'm going to read a lot of what Will wrote here as Will wrote it, because he's a great writer. His most memorable moments in Boy Scouting. My first night visiting Troop 19 as a transfer, the familial feeling that was present immediately made me feel at home, and it was when I met some of the very people that I'm still close friends with today. Another experience was, Will says, my first night in Pisgah, which entailed everybody giving me, who was a little heavy at the time, words of encouragement and advice. This would be one of the catalysts for a personal journey that many of the same people come to an end, and would allow me to give the same words of encouragement to others in and out of scouting. Camp Old Indian was another. He says, few words are needed to describe the hot, exciting, arachnophobic, and insightful experience that Camp Old Indian provides. I went 3 or 4 times, but it was there that I really got to know my fellow scouts, as well as experience things that I would never have likely otherwise experienced. Going to places like this was simply part of growing up. You have arachnophobia? Learn to manage it. You need to be more punctual? Arrive to class late, I dare you. Another experience was sitting for his final board review. He says, I know that scouting never ends. We are tasked with carrying our lessons with us into the world and giving back to the organization. But there isn't much to prepare you for the ceremonial end of your scouting journey. Relatively speaking, scouting encompassed the majority of my life. I can barely remember a time that I wasn't in scouting. So answering questions that you spent 12 years learning the answers to was a little strange. But perhaps the most important sensation, at least to me, was shaking Scott and my father's hand afterwards. Maybe it was the way that COVID encompassed so much of my later educational and scouting career, but it seemed like overnight I went from a child to, for lack of a better term, an adult. It was an odd yet pleasant feeling, and I felt very proud to have been a part of it, as well as grateful. Will says his plans to give back to scouting. He says, Will Jr. is going to be a Boy Scout, and he's going to like it. Other than that, I'll be a parent leader or maybe even pick up the reins as an official leader in a troop. And because it's the answer they really need right now in the Blue Ridge Council, I would give an occasional donation. His plans after high school and or college, he says he's currently a freshman at Clemson University, and he's enrolled in the Wilbur O. and Ann Powers College of Business. He's likely going to double major in accounting and finance so that he can sit for his CPA examination after graduation. But of course, he says we must always be open to change. He says he's still working on the wife and kids part of his plan, but he'll keep you updated on how that turns out. He wants to thank the following people for helping him obtain his Eagle Scout rank. Scott Kilgore for guiding me throughout my entire scouting career, acting as an example of how to balance different areas of my life, be professionally outgoing, and for all the little things like how to properly shake hands. Amy Schaible for helping teach me level-headedness, introducing me to my beneficiary, and for guiding me in regards to paperwork, professional writing, and listening to my grumblings. Tim Poole for always answering my multitude of questions about my Eagle Scout project and helping me any way he could. Chip Schaible for motivating me, teaching me how to manage myself and my time, spending countless hours either drawing up designs or mentoring me on how to lead a project, and inspiring me to complete the project as a matter of principle, regardless of whether or not I would receive recognition. And he has some closing comments here. He says, I came into his scouting as a shy, inexperienced, and fearful boy without a clue of what I really wanted to do or how I would live my life. I came out with an appreciation for health and fitness, academics, and hard work, as well as a multitude of experiences to think back to and a basic knowledge on how to approach a variety of situations calmly and with decisiveness. I don't think that's any coincidence. The BSA prides itself on turning boys into men, and despite all the struggles it entailed, I would go through it 100 more times if it meant arriving at the same result. With this in mind, I'm extremely thankful to Scott Kilgore and their approach to scouting he has led us with, as well as my father for making you stick with it. Congratulations, Will.
Thank you, Dean. And how's that arachnophobia coming? Okay. Would help him get over his arachnophobia by sending him photographs of spiders and cartoons of spiders, usually about 10:30 or 11 at night, just to, build up some calluses. Okay. Let's see. Ben, Sheorn, can you stand up? And Paul's going to read or present your qualifications.
I present the qualifications for Ben. His father's Dean, his stepmom Jennifer, and his mom Katie Brown. He'll be graduating from Greenville High School this year and started scouting back in September of 2013, which seems so long ago. He has 27 merit badges earned and has served in a number of leadership positions, including troop guide, senior patrol leader, assistant senior patrol leader, assistant senior patrol leader, assistant patrol leader, and quartermaster. For his Eagle Scout, he built a Gaga ball pit at St. Giles Presbyterian Church. If you're not familiar with Gaga ball, my kids when they were younger loved to play this. You knock the ball around, and if it hits you below the knees, you're out. Last person standing wins. The pit will be used by the youth and scout troops at St. Giles, and also the YMCA day camp hosted there. That entailed about 130 project hours. For his special scout awards, he has the Order of the Air Ordeal from Northern Tier back in 2020. And his other awards, he's gotten Beta Club and National Honor Society. His most memorable moment in scouting listed was when he went to Northern Tier. It was a fantastic experience I'm very happy to have been part of. Another memorable moment was going to COI for the first time. I had a really fun summer, and I really looked up to the older scouts, which made me want to pursue scouting even more. In the future, he plans to give back to the scouting, to his local troop by financially supporting them, which I'm sure they appreciate. He also wants to get his kids to try scouting. And if not, he'll attempt to give back in other ways to his local troops. After high school, he's enlisting as a senior airman in the United States Air Force. And he wanted to thank his father, because whenever he had a question, he would be the first person he would ask. And he pushed me to do my project earlier than I had planned, and he was grateful for that. He also wanted to thank his grandfather.
Thank you. Ben is probably one of the more active scouts that I've had in the troop in a long time. So I think he's one of the ones that took advantage the most of the opportunities. Aiden, can you stand up? And let's see who's presenting Aiden's qualifications. Thank you, Richard.
Hi, I'm Richard Leland, and I have the honor of introducing Aiden Spinks. He's the son of Steve and Allison Spinks. He's a senior at Christ Church. He started scouting in August of 16. He earned 24 merit badges, had positions of assistant senior patrol leader and troop guide. His Eagle Scout project involved installation and improvement of the Troop 19 trailhead entrance on Ridgeland Way. He, along with family and friends and scouts, cleared brush, installed benches, added steps, installed plants. It was a total of 165 hours. His Special Boy Scout awards were Ordeal membership in Order of the Arrow and Northern Tier in 2019. Besides scouting, he's been an honor roll in all years in high school and done a 10-day mission trip to Puerto Rico with this church Ford Press. Been the captain of his church basketball team for 2 years at Ford Press, and varsity soccer player for 4 years, and goalkeeper at Christ Church, where he's captained he's all-state, all-region and the team won state 2A championship in 2021. What he doesn't tell you there is I think he may have been scored on once against Riverside, who's 4 or 5A, and barely could beat them. His most memorable scouting was skeet shooting at Black River Trip and paddling 16 miles in one day on a canoe on Northern Tier Trip. His plans to get back scouting is to get his younger brother interested in scouts and lead scouts on outing. He's interested after school in going to college and studying business management and experiencing cultures around the world and seeing what he could do as far as service to the Spinks company, and wants to get his pilot's license. He wants to thank Scott Kilgore for helping him through everything, and my son Wells, his best friend, for getting involved in scouting. He also wants to thank his mother and father for their tremendous support and always encourage him to do his best. He states he's grateful for the wisdom and character building teachings of the Boy Scouts of America organization. Proud to watch this fellow grow from a lad to a man.
Thank you, Rich. Aiden? So, as you can tell by the qualifications, Aiden has a tremendous amount of outside activities, and very proud of some of the things he's done as a goalie. That's just incredible. So, unfortunately, he's a good athlete, but that's a good thing also. So we're very proud of him, man.
Well, those were quite the accomplishments as I was going through my Boy Scout stuff yesterday, looking for my Eagle medal. I read my application, my Eagle Scout application, and it said, I'm going to be an accountant, much like these guys have talked about what they're going to be. And believe it or not, I'm a CPA by vocation. I'm currently a chief operating officer of a law firm, so I translated that kind of financial analytical skills into kind of the operations of running a couple companies. So I'm currently on the executive board of the Blue Ridge Council, and I'm the treasurer, so it was music to my ears to hear people talking about financial support. Next time I'll bring pledge cards and hand them out as we go. And then I'm the president-elect, so I'll be the president of the council next year. So I'm all in for scouting because I see the impact on the lives of the youth of the upstate. And so on behalf of the executive board and the Eagle Scouts of this council, the 92 that have preceded these folks in this troop, we challenge these scouts, these Eagle Scout candidates, to accept the responsibility as well as the honor of the Eagle Scout Award. And so those responsibilities are 4 kind of key things. Loyal or honor, start with honor. So an Eagle Scout is to live with honor. His honor is to be sacred. It's the foundation to character and to living out the ideals of scouting. And so we want you to make sure that your character is shown to the world around you in all areas of your life, whether it's church, school, friends, family, wherever you find yourself. And so the white in the Eagle Scout medal represents and is to remind you of honor. Second thing is loyalty. And so an Eagle Scout is to be loyal, to be true to yourself, and then true to others as you seek to serve them and lead them in good times and in bad times. So the blue is to remind Eagle Scouts of being loyal. Third is courage. And so an Eagle Scout is courageous. Courage gives us character and force and strength to be impactful in the world. With trust in God and faith in himself and his fellow man, he faces each day unafraid, and he seeks to share in the leadership of the world and service to the world. So let the red in the Eagle medal remind you of courage. And then lastly, the fourth is service. And so an Eagle Scout is to be service-oriented, as you heard in the descriptions of their Eagle Scout projects and their leadership within the troop. So extending a helping hand to those who need help, who are toiling, who are struggling in the crazy world that we live in, and to help others, just as many have invested in you and helped you along your journey up to this point. The daily reminder to do a good deed, to do a good turn, must take on new meaning as you pursue college or your careers in your future. Remember to protect and defend the weak and helpless, and to comfort the unfortunate and the oppressed. and to uphold the rights of others as you seek to serve them. So at this point, we'd like to ask Preston and Scott to please come forward. And the Eagle Scout candidates, if you'd grab your parents and escort them to the front of the room, that would be great. We're probably going to have to spread out across the front of the chancel here. So if you'd escort your parents up and just spread out kind of in the front of the room here. So for the Eagle candidates, we now proclaim that you have completed the requirements to be an Eagle Scout. The symbol of your success is going to be the Eagle badge to wear in your uniform and the Eagle medal that you can wear when you're out of uniform that we presented to you. And by virtue of the authority invested in this Court of Honor by the National Council, the Boy Scouts of America, upon recommendation of the responsible boards of review, and after thorough investigation of your qualifications, we now award the rank of Eagle Scout to Josh Masters, Cooper Renn, Will Schaible, Ben Sheorn, and Aiden Springs. So the families, at this time, either mom or dad, whichever one you prefer, will now pin the Eagle badge over your heart, the Eagle medal over your heart.
And try to do it without blood.
Without stabbing him. Back in the day, the Navy SEALs used to punch it in. Don't think that's allowed anymore. There should be a merit badge for pinning things on shirts. Hopefully you can get it pinned on. It's kind of sad that the parents get put in this situation after all they've put in to get to this point. Now they struggle with getting the Eagle medal pinned on the shirt. All right, I think we're mostly there. If you can't quite get it in, that's okay. There you go. Okay, so Eagle Scouts, in recognition of the many hours of patient guidance given to you by your mother, if your mother is here with you, you will now pin the mother's pin over her heart. Okay. So now, Eagles, in recognition of the wisdom and guidance given to you over the many years by your father, you may now present the dad's pin to your father, which he will wear in your honor. You pin it on him if you can.
Troop has a few gifts for
And so while those are being presented, if the audience would please stand and join me in a round of applause. You may be seated. And Eagle candidates or Eagle Scouts, if you would now escort your parents back to their seats.
you're about to cover great reasons. You've been very helpful to the truth also. And Will. Maybe you can get to that. Or read your writing.
I wanted to thank their father, not for the story, for just always being there for me and for giving me the best of time. Being there for me, for giving me, helping me get that man, for, pieces of information, talking about my life. And I know I will always have my back.
I have a lot of people in mind, but people that stood out to me would be my father and my grandfather. Steve and Spinks. They've been a great part of the community. They give a lot back, and they've been great father figures.
Okay, so now I have the honor to give you the Eagle Scout charge on this occasion of your elevation to scouting's highest rank. Boy Scouts of all nations constitute one of the most wholesome and significant movements in the world's history, and you have been found worthy of the highest rank in its membership. All of you know, all who know you rejoice in your achievement. Your position, as you know, well known, is one of honor and responsibility. You are a marked man. As an Eagle Scout, you have assumed a solemn obligation to do your duty to God, to country, to your fellow Scouts, and others. This is a great undertaking. You will live up to these obligations and bring honor to yourself and your brother Scouts. You cannot fail and bring down the standard of all others. Your responsibility goes beyond your fellow Scouts to God and your country. America has many good things to give you and those who follow you. But these good things depend on, for the most part, on the character and leadership abilities of her citizens. You come to help her in all that she needs most. You are here to make her future greater. I charge you to undertake your citizenship with a solemn dedication, be a leader, but lead only toward the best. Lift up every task you do and every office you hold to the highest level of service. By doing so, all may live better. And I don't know if you remember at the end of your Eagle Board of Review, but I asked each of you, do you remember that great feeling you had when you finished your project? It was just like, it's done. You have the ability, the skills, the leadership to have that great feeling anytime you want to. Once a month, once a quarter, once a year. It's just, that's the cool thing about being able to help others and do, that's one of the reasons they ask you to do an Eagle Leadership Service Project. So I wanted to thank each of the folks that read your qualifications. Each one of the gentlemen, plus others, have helped make Troop 19 what it is. There's just a whole bunch of people that have chipped in, and you mentioned your mentors, but I also wanted to charge you, like once Will has all of his 10 or 12 kids, when you go to one of those recruiting events and they're looking for somebody to be a Cub Scout leader or assistant scoutmaster or something, I'm going to go ahead and give you your Tiger Cub den leader patch. So, but it has been a complete joy to work with each one of you over the last 6, 7, 8 years. It's impressive to see the young men you've become. Proud of every single one of you, and I just wish you nothing but the best.
Let us pray. For life, for opportunity, for friendship, and for a fellowship. We thank thee, O Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, ceremonies like this are always kind of bittersweet because it marks the end of something, but also the beginning of something. I always remember the last game of my kids' soccer season or basketball season or football season. You kind of love the camaraderie and the community that comes with it, but it all comes to an end and you kind of start a new season of life. So guys, look forward to seeing what you're going to do in the world, continue to be a leader, and continue to serve other people. So there is a reception following this down in the crimes room, which I think is below us. I'm not sure how you...
We changed it up. Yeah, sorry. It's over here in the fellowship hall.
Okay, so follow Scott's directions to the reception. Love to have everybody there. And one more round of applause for our Eagle Scouts. So this court of honor now stands adjourned. Thank you.